Hey guys, I'm here today to show you how to make veggie tater tots. So these ones are with sweet potato, but I'm going to show you two varieties, one with broccoli and cauliflower and one with sweet potato, okay? So we're going to start out with our sweet potato. So I'm just going to keep the skin on because in a lot of thin-skinned fruits and vegetables, a lot of the nutrition, up to 70%, is either in the skin or right beneath. So we're going to keep the skin on. I'm just going to take off some little bad parts. So this is the part that your parent or your older sibling or guardian does. Okay, I'm going to take out this little hole. Looks like a bug did that. It's okay, it's not a bad sign. If bugs want to eat the food you want to eat, means it's probably good food. Okay. So I'm just using a microplane here, but you can use any type of grater you like. If you use a thinner grate, then it's going to come out with like a smoother texture, whereas if you are using a coarser grate, it's going to be a little crunchier. So you can also use a food processor. If you have a food processor that does a grating function for you, you can also do that. Whoa, I lost a little bit here. The most important part when you're grating is to watch your fingers the whole time. Graters are very easy to cut yourself on, but only really when you're not paying enough attention. So if you're paying enough attention, you shouldn't cut yourself on your grater. Okay. Now I'm making two types of these, and they should be eaten within 1 to 2 days of making them. So you don't want to make way more than you can eat in 2 days. So I've got my grated sweet potato here. There's all my grated sweet potato. Okay. And sweet potato has lots of natural fiber in it. It also, like all orange and purple vegetables, has a lot of natural antioxidants. So natural antioxidants help your blood purify and help you clean toxins out of your body. So they're very good for you. So we've got our grated sweet potato here. And now I'm going to add in 2 cloves of garlic, 1 big one, 1 small one, into our garlic press. Okay. There we go. All the garlic's in. And now I am going to crack an egg. And just with a fork, this is another job the kids can do. We're going to mix up that egg. Okay, we're adding in 1 egg after we beat it up. And now we're going to add in some herbs. So I'm just going to get rid of this bowl. Go over here. We're going to add in some herbs. So we're going to add in some thyme. And when you're adding in thyme leaves, you want to rub them while you're putting them in, but you also want to pull them against the stem, just like this. When you're pulling down, That's how you get them all off in one swoop. So I'll show you again. I've got a stem of thyme here. You can see that? Ta-da! There goes then all our thyme. So I'm gonna put in about, I think 5 sprigs worth of thyme. Okay, so I'm picking the ones with lots of leaves and not lots of branches, because then you get little sticks in. Whereas it's fine to do the ones with lots of little sticks when you're roasting potatoes or carrots or something like that. It's a little more annoying to have sticks in the middle of a tater tot. Not the nicest texture. So here we go. And that's all our thyme. And we're also going to do some rosemary, but the rosemary leaves are a little bit too big to go in whole. So I'm going to do a whole sprig of rosemary, and I'm tearing off all the leaves. And this is the part you can do, and then your parent can chop up the rosemary for you. But you can pull all the little leaves off. So here's our rosemary in a pile. And whenever you're chopping anything, this is just a tip for the parent or the older person making all these cuts, is you want to reorganize your pile every 5 to 6 chops, because that way you're not losing a ton of your product, because when you're chopping, your knife is going all over the board. And if you're not reorganizing your product, you end up losing a lot of it. Okay. There's all our rosemary. That's great. That's just going to go right in there. Perfect, and goes our rosemary. So now we have rosemary, garlic, and thyme, and those are our seasonings to bring out all that nice flavor in the sweet potato. We're going to do about 1/4 teaspoon of fresh cracked salt and about 1/2 teaspoon of fresh pepper. Now you don't have to use fresh pepper, you don't have to crack your own salt, but I like it. Okay. And we're going to do 1/4 cup of flour to start. Now every sweet potato and every cauliflower and every broccoli is a little bit different in moisture. So this recipe is really about feel. I'm going to teach you how to look for that feel in this recipe. So we're going to start with 1/4 cup of flour. Okay. We've got our mixing spoon. Now we are going to mix this all around. And I can tell you from this that this is still a little wet looking for my liking. So I'm going to add another 1/2 cup of flour. So that would be 1/8 of a cup of flour. So we're going to throw that in. And we're going to mix this all around, making sure we get it all together. And you see how this is just a little bit drier. It's still quite sticky, but that is the texture we're looking for. Sticky, wet, not too wet though, not soppy wet. Okay, so now I'm just going to move some ingredients aside for a second here. Don't want to lose our little egg. Got our herbs. And I've got a parchment lined baking sheet right here waiting for us. I'm going to show you how these go on. So you're going to take about a teaspoon worth of our little potato mixture here, and you're going to roll it into a ball, just like Play-Doh, okay? And then with your fingers, you are going to squish them on all 4 sides. All 4 sides. So that they're like long, little blobs. Okay? So we're going to do that. And it's okay that your hands are getting sticky and dirty. That is just part of learning. So I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit on bake. And these are going to go in there for 15 to 25 minutes. Okay, and we're back. I'm going to set these aside for a minute. And we're going to put our broccoli and cauliflower tots on the exact same one. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to chop up some vegetables. So you can see with the broccoli, it's almost like I'm just shaving the edge of it off. And I am, because I want to start with small pieces so that I have to do less chopping. Okay, perfect. There's our broccoli. And your parent or guardian can do this part. Chop them all up. Okay, cool. Just putting all the crumbs off my knife in here because I don't want to waste any of our precious, precious broccoli. This broccoli is really, really good for you. So I've got about 1.5 cups of chopped broccoli, and I'm going to aim to make about the same amount of cauliflower. Now this cauliflower is starting to go bad. It had little black spots all over here, and what I did, I just cut them off. I just cut them off because the bad part of the cauliflower actually hadn't sunk in very deep at all. It was very surface level. So you don't have to throw away a broccoli or a cauliflower or any vegetable. If you see just little bad spots on it, just cut them off. There's no point in wasting just because a little bit of a bad spot on a fruit or vegetable freaks you out. Just cut it off. Okay. Now you can see chopping up the cauliflower is a little bit more work than the broccoli, but that's okay. Cauliflower has a ton of fiber in it, which is why it's work to cut it up. That's okay. It's better for us because we're getting all this high fiber, which is very good for us, especially after we all went through that banana bread kick. We could kind of use a cauliflower kick just about now, I would guess. I definitely can. Okay. Now you can see with this cut, this is for the parents or the older participants. But I've got my hand here on my knife at the end here, and it is flat and it is firm. I'm not wiggling it, I'm not bending it around while I'm using my knife. Keeping it flat and firm on my knife. And then this is going to be my pivot point. So I'm going to pivot with my knife. There we go. And I'm almost happy with the size of my cauliflower. And for the exact same amount, so I've got about 1.5 cups. This side's a little bit closer on the side of 2 cups. So I've got about 1.5 cups of broccoli, 2 cups of cauliflower. I want to mix that all around. Cool. Okay. So we've got our broccoli cauliflower mix here, and we're going to add the same seasoning because these are all going to be together as one side dish. Could have some broccoli cauliflower ones, could have some sweet potato ones. Okay, so now I'm going to add in my crushed garlic, 2 cloves again, 1 big, 1 small. Okay. I'm gonna add in my thyme and my rosemary. Remember, pull down the stem. Down the stem. There they go. Leaves in. Down the stem. Down the stem. Okay. Got all our leaves in here. About 5 stems worth of thyme once again. I think I need 1 more big one. Fresh herbs make a world of difference. They have a much more robust flavor as well as amazing nutrition properties. And it's also been proven that smelling herbs reduces stress. So when you're picking your herbs, make sure to take a sniff. It actually smells so nice. Okay, here we go. Got our same 1 sprig of rosemary, because rosemary is a much stronger tasting herb. So you don't need quite as much of it, but you still want to get lots of it in there. So we have really flavorful little veggie tots. Okay. Okay. There goes our herbs. I need my little egg bowl back. I'm gonna crack another egg in. And I'm searching around because I think I got a piece of shell in here. Guys, this happens to everyone, even professionals. Where? Where did it go? Ah! Da 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 da. We got it. You see that guy? So tricky. It's okay. We got him. Okay, now, just like last time, we're gonna beat up our egg. Perfect. The yolk is all incorporated. We're gonna add in our egg. Okay, eggs added in. Stir that around. Gonna add in some salt and pepper. 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. There we go. Mix that around. Now it's time to add in our flour. So let's start with Just like last time, we're going to start with a 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup. Okay? Just from this texture, I can kind of tell that it isn't sticking together quite like I want. So I could add 1 more egg, but I'm going to add an alternative just to show you how to use this ingredient. This is ground flaxseed. You can see right here. I'm going to add in two tablespoons of ground flax, and to that, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of water. This, my friends, is known as a flax egg. I'm going to mix this all around. So this is 4 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of ground flax. Okay, so this is all incorporated now. And it's just going to sit for a minute or two until it thickens up. So I am going to add another 1/8 of a cup of flour. Now you don't have to use white flour in this. You could use whole wheat flour, you could use oat flour, you could use chickpea flour would be nice actually, because that's a thick flour. You could use corn flour if you have it. Would add a really nice flavor. Have more of a corn chippy flavor if you use corn flour. But when you change flours, they all have different densities. They all have different ways that they help bind food. So you might have to use more or less. Your recipe adjusts. Okay, so you can now see how thick and goopy this is, like an egg. And this is what's referred to in the health food and the culinary world as a flax egg. You can also make a chia egg, but that's how it is. It's just water and the ground seed, because it becomes, as soon as it's let to stand for a couple minutes, becomes very sticky. Okay, that's the texture we want. Very similar to what we have with our sweet potatoes. Messy, messy, messy. Just gonna move all my dishes off to the side here. And I'm gonna bring back our tray. And I'm working with the same amount of product, so about a teaspoon. And you want to softly, you can see how slowly and gently I am rolling these into little balls and then squishing them between my thumb and my forefinger, or I think that's also called your Peter Pointer. I don't know if they still use that. So we're rolling, 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 rolling very gently, and then squishing down into that same little shape. And you don't want them to be touching, but they don't have to be very far apart like you would with cookies, because they're not going to expand. they are going to contract in the heat. Okay, so now our tots are ready for the oven. Hard to see them on this, when they're uncooked on this white piece of parchment paper. Now the parchment paper is important because if you do not have parchment paper, good luck getting them off the cookie sheet. You need parchment paper for this recipe, okay? I'll be right back with the finished product. They are going in the oven at 350 for 15 to 25 minutes. See you soon.